Hello Nation, and welcome back to the homestead. Okay, well today we're going to continue with our series on butchering and processing a pig and breaking it down. In the last video we broke it down into the primal cuts of the meat of the pig down to its primals. In this video we're going to be taking it a step further. So what tools are you going to need to be able to process your pig down even more? Well, just like before, you're going to need your knives. If you don't have access or you don't have a meat bandsaw, then you're going to need your regular meat saws, short and long. You probably need a good long one when it comes down to being able to break down the ribs. And then I would suggest a good pair of nitrile gloves. So that's almost forgot. The bone scraper. If you're going to be, especially with the bandsaw, if you're cutting bone-in pork chops like what we're going to be doing today, you can get some bone residue in the meat and you run this over it and it will clean it up. It'll pretty much act like a rake and scrape it off. Okay, so let's get into breaking this pig down. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to work on is getting those small hocks off that hams, because we're not going to turn these hams into country hams this go around. We're just going to have them as regular hams. So we're going to remove the hocks and we're going to do that on the bandsaw. So the first thing that we want to do is, because these are some big honking hams, okay? I want my table here on this one slides, so I kind of want to get this as forward as I can, and I want to try to get it to where I'm cutting right through and in here, right? Somewhere around in here will be good, at least for us. That's where I like to cut, somewhere right around in there. Again, I'm not a professional butcher, so I don't know the exact locations for them. I do what works. Now, in all honesty, I probably could have gone a lot closer to it than this. I just kind of wanted to round it kind of off. And so, there's the ham. And here's the hawk. That's a good looking hawk right there. Now I do utilize these stop plates the best that I can, especially when it comes to cutting pork chops. With these, because the meat is so heavy with this. By putting my weight on the meat, it'll also help push this table. So I just want to line it up best I can. Now I took this one off a little bit higher up, but you see all those bone fragments right there? That's what that bone scraper is for. You literally take it and then just work it, and it cleans it up. Takes all them bone fragments right off. All right, so our hams are done because we're leaving the bone in. We're, maybe if we get another cold snap, I'll do another pig. I'll show you guys how to take those bones out. But next, we're going to move over here to our midsection and with our belly. This is where we'll get our bacon, pork chops, ribs, all of those things. Now, the very first thing that we need to do is there's a lot of this fat right here. Okay, and so we don't want to remove it all, but a lot of this is remnants from where Carol pulled the leaf lard out and stuff. So we're going to just kind of trim that up, get rid of some of this nasty junk right here, and get this ready to be able to turn it into bacon and pork chops. Now a lot of this stuff that I'm cutting off right here, you can throw in there, and it's stuff that you could give your dogs as a treat and whatnot, and just kind of clean it up. You do that on both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, from here, you can take your knife and remove the spinal cord. And all you have to do is just go in there and go down to the best of your ability to get it out. And a lot of this stuff right here happened because we didn't make a very good cut straight down the middle, because we were doing it by hand and it was swinging on the gamble. Again, we don't have the professional type equipment, so we gotta make do with what we got. You know, not everything can come out picture perfect. Okay, so now from here, the next step on this would be to run it on the bandsaw and to run it, and I'll show you guys when we pull it over on the bandsaw. We're going to do a lot of knife work right now, but we're going to run it on the bandsaw to run it right about through here all the way down to be able to get to your bacon and set it up for pork chops. But right now we got more knife work to do. We're going to come on over to the front haunches. Okay, so now we're going to be at the front haunches. Now, there is a part of these haunches that is very important to make sure you get. And they're usually located right up and in by the neck, right up here in the front where the neck was. And there's this gland in here. You have to make sure you get that out. In my opinion, a lot of people miss those, and so that's where your taint and your gamey taste can come from. And so all you do is I always make it a big cut, so that way I make sure I get them, and then they can go into the dog food pile. Now on your front section, this is where we're going to get a hock, your Boston butt, and your picnic. Okay, but in order to get that, we've got to remove this section of the backbone here down and around. So in order to do that, you just come, like, here's a little part of the neck bone. Come in here and just follow that bone all the way down. Let the bone tell you where to cut. You're going to make an initial cut here. Try to keep it as close to this spinal column as you can, making that cut, and then let gravity do more of the work for you. Just kind of press down on it. Come up in here, cut that away, and then you just start peeling it away. Try to get in there. Let's see if I can do this where you guys can see. See how your ribs, I didn't get very tight right there, but see how your ribs and stuff are right down in here, and you just want to follow them to the best of your ability. Just take your time, keep pulling, keep that tension right there. Okay, and then just follow your ribs all the way down. You really got to invest in a good butchering knives for this, or you'll be here whacking at this thing all day. And it's just not. How much these actually cost, it's really not that big of a hassle to go invest in a good set of butcher and even skinning knives, so that way, one, you're not breaking your back trying to get all of this stuff off, okay, and two, it makes it a little bit more enjoyable, to be honest with you. When you got good tools, it makes it more enjoyable. And there's that. Now you'll take this and the stuff that you leave on, because look, as you do this, you'll get better at making it a good solid cut. See, I'm still relatively new at this, but you can just take that other stuff off, throw it over there in your sausage cut pile. No big deal. The problem, you just got to get out here and just, to be honest with you, just start doing it. Just start doing it. Develop your own level, your own skills, and pretty soon you'll have stuff that looks like it came from a butcher shop. Okay, so the bone is out of this. We'll go through and we'll clean up a lot of this ugliness, this stuff from it hanging, some of the stuff like that. We'll just clean it up from the shot, because sometimes the round will go down through the head and enter into the front shoulders. It happens sometimes. We'll just clean this up. A lot of this will just go into the sausage pile and some of it will go in for the dogs. Okay, so now the only thing that we have left to do with this one is take the hock off, and then we will cut it down the middle to separate the Boston butt from the picnic. I'm going to go ahead and do the next one, and then we'll be back on the bandsaw. Okay, so we're back over here at the bandsaw. Now we're going to start with the front haunches. We're going to cut these hocks off right here. We're going to kind of pretty much take away this whole leg portion here. And you're just going to cut straight down here. There's you a decent hawk. Now we'll hit it with the bone scraper, and then Carol will probably make up her world famous Carol Ann brine, and we will put it in there to soak. Alright, the next thing that we have to do is separate the Boston butt from the picnic. Now pretty much this section, you just come right down the middle. This section over here is all Boston butt, and then this little itty bitty stuff over here is your picnic. Now you operate this bandsaw no different than you would say a table saw. Okay, the same safety protocols are in place with this bandsaw that are in place with your table saw. This pig was a little bit bigger than this table was probably designed for. So there at the end, I kind of had to push the meat the rest of the way. But here's your Boston butt. Now we could take the bone out, or we'll leave the bone in. We can scrape it. We'll probably trim it up, clean it up, and probably take some butcher's twine around it to kind of give it this form, and then we can brine it and smoke it or cook it up and have some pulled pork barbecue. All right, and so we have here is what's called the picnic. Now, there's a lot of cleaning up to do here. We're going to get rid of all of this nastiness right here, and then get rid of some of this, and then the same thing will happen. We can tie it up, and then you got a nice little roast right there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the second one the same way, and then we'll move on to the center section with the ribs and stuff. Okay, so now we're moving to the center section. Now this is a big chunk of meat right here. Where we're trying to cut is about that far down from your spine down the ribs. Basically, think about how big you want your pork chops if you're doing bone-in pork chops, and that is where you want that cut to go. I like a little bit. Dessa likes to, when Dessa does this, she likes to cut somewhere around in here. She likes them little short pork chops. I like a little bit longer ones. So we're going to cut right in here. And we just follow this down all the way down and through. Okay, as you can see, that one is a little bit more labor intensive coming for it. But this is the part we'll clean up. We'll take this tail off right here and then cut this back. This can be your bacon. We're not going to do that in this video because I like the way that these look. We'll trim this up, and this will be for like 4th of July for us to have ribs on the 4th of July. But this is your ribs, and to be able to do the bacon, what you do is you just come right up and in here, okay, and you start cutting away just like how we did on that front haunch. You do it the same way on this. You just follow these rib bones all the way down and it'll peel away, and then that will be your bacon, and then you can square it up so that way you have good square slab of bacon. Alright, from here we're going to go ahead and cut our pork chops. So I'm going to slide this puppy all the way back. Now Robin likes to have as thick of pork chops as I can give her. So I try to pretty much make it to where I'm about 1 inch thick, 3/4 inches thick, best to my eyeballing ability. Now that's a big honking pork chop right there. We may need to cut that down a little bit. I don't know though, I kind of like it. That's a little more like it right there. See, this is the girls and Robin's pork chop. See, that's my pork chop. And then you just rinse and repeat. Now, right here is a judgment call for you. You can keep going, but we like to have a little bit of a tenderloin roast. But I'm just going to cut this part of the tailbone off right here and kind of square it up. Right. And that'll go in towards the sausage and stuff like that. Okay, so now we got another nice little roast that if Robin wants me to, I can take the bone out once I clean it up. We've got nice pork chops that even being a rookie like myself who learned how to do this from the Bearded Butcher's YouTube channel, I can be somewhat proud of that. They look pretty good, and I know they're going to taste fantastic. But now it's just kind of rinse and repeat with the other side, and then you have now broken an entire pig down into the hams, the picnic, Boston butt, the hocks, pork chops, and either ribs or bacon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that other side. And so while I'm doing that other side, hey, if you missed the other videos in this series, go ahead and check out this video that we did last time when we broke this pig down into the primals. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. God bless, and have a nice day.